Or could it be that, well, maybe Washington doesn't want us to know what's in that budget? $1 trillion deficits and still pork barrel spending, even though, heck, everybody ran on the no more earmarks. Now there's still the pork barrel spending in there, unfunded mandates, and, you know, it's just not a pretty picture in an election year. Right. See, that's the deal. It's an election year. So is it any wonder? We don't know where our money is going. We don't know what they propose to do with our money because it's an election year and it's too volatile an issue. It is utterly reckless and unprecedented to not pass a budget. We can't go on spending blindly like there's no tomorrow, because as we see in Europe today, tomorrow always comes. Socialists in Europe thought that they could have their cake and eat it too. Nice incomes and lots of vacation time and early retirement and long-term financial security and cradle-to-grave welfare benefits and a bloated public sector. But defense spending? Nah, don't worry about that. There's always the good old US of A to take care of the really big threats. And you guys all know that if something sounds too good to be true, then folks, it is. And that's what the Europeans are finally finding out today. They're finding this out. Let's stop and consider how ironic it is, though, that just as the Europeans are forced by market realities, this is reality, to dismantle their socialist welfare states, we're being marched towards that state, the European-style socialism. Like the Europeans, Washington, under our president, there seem to be just too busy spending to our tomorrow today. And like the Europeans, they're piling trillions of dollars of deficit on top of trillions of dollars of national debt. And like the Europeans, it seems that they, in control of government today, that they seem to think that the bills will just all magically all pay themselves in this kind of fairy tale that we see going on right now. Bill Clinton said it best. Bill Clinton, after a debate in the primary, the Democrats' primary, he had said, looking at what was going on with some misrepresentation of his wife's record and her intentions as a candidate, he said, if this isn't the biggest fairy tale I've ever seen. And what I watched what's going on now with this, it seems this kind of charade about what's going on, where there isn't a whole lot of transparency in government. We don't really know where our money is going to be spent. We certainly don't know where we're going to get the money to pay for all these enormous new programs with enormous new price tags. It seems like it's kind of a fairy tale, folks, and I'd rather deal in reality, because we're not cutting taxes so that our businesses can grow and expand and hire more people and be more productive and reinvest. We're not allowing the economy to roar back to life. So Greta, what do we say to the president on this? How about this? Mr. President, the people here in Denver tonight are quite concerned. This is our children's future that we're talking about. This is the future of America, as we're here tonight assembled, speaking about some very important matters. So, Mr. President, are you paying attention to the collapse of the socialist economies in Europe? Do you realize now that socialism doesn't work? Do you see that the budget-busting new entitlement programs won't lead us to a utopia? Instead, they'll lead us right off a cliff. But again, don't take my word for it, not the little housewife from Alaska. I don't blame you. No, listen to your own advisor, Mr. President. Listen to Paul Volcker and what he just said. He said this week that time is growing short for us to tackle our uncontrolled borrowing. He said, and I quote, "There are serious questions about the sustainability of our commitment to growing entitlement programs." And then he warned us that we had better get started dealing with our out-of-control spending because, again, I quote, "Today's concerns may become tomorrow's existential crisis," end quote. You betcha we better get started. We better get started putting our financial house in order. In fact, we'd better get started on all of these issues. Securing our border once and for all. Stop bowing and kowtowing and apologizing for America to foreign regimes. let's repeal and replace this mother of all unfunded mandates, Obamacare, and let's cut spending, cut taxes, end the bailouts, get government out of the way, and then we can watch our economy roar back to life. So Denver, friends and patriots who are here tonight, let's get started by taking our country back at the ballot box this year. And one of the best signs I saw at a Tea Party rally had to do with this. That Tea Party sign somebody held up, it said, "I can see November from my house," and it was palm-worthy. I had to write that one down. I can see November from my house. Well, Colorado, we can see November from this room, and it's looking pretty good. But there is a mountain to climb before we get there, and the stakes really have never been higher. We can't be complacent about allowing an assault on democracy, Obamacare, to stand unchallenged, or allowing this dangerous fundamental transformation of America to continue. We can't be content to say, oh, well, we lost that battle here and there, but we'll win the war. No, the battle is the war. Greta is what we would say we need to tell the president. It's deception to think that we can give up fundamental freedoms and still be the same America. When government grows, man, it's virtually impossible then to rein back in that expansion. If we don't stop it now, we'll be reduced to simply tinkering in the margins and trying to make this massive new bureaucratic monstrosity run just maybe more efficiently. And this march towards socialism changes us as a free people. It changes us. When Big Daddy government starts to claim responsibility for everything, gradually what you see is an unhealthy attitude of helplessness and apathy and an eroding of our work ethic. It takes hold of us and it will strangle us. When confronted with any problem, then we'll no longer think that we have to take care of it ourselves. Instead, we'll ask, well, what's government going to do about it? That's why I say that if we concede any battle against big government and steps towards a socialized government and programs, an unrecognizable government, then we concede the war. We do need to stand up and fight for liberty. Stand up and fight for our God-given freedoms as if the fate of our republic depends on us, because it really does, folks. It depends on us. We must not be complacent, and we must not just assume that any race is a shoo-in. We've got to work hard to turn the ship of state and put government back on our side. And we do have our work cut out for us, constitutionalists. We have our work cut out for us, and it's our responsibility to learn what these guys are trying to teach us through their shows about the Constitution, about the impacts of every policy that's proposed or law that's proposed, how it affects our economy, how it affects our democracy, how it impacts our Constitution and the interpretation of our Constitution. We have to pay attention, and again, it's good to be here with you who are well informed, because you tune in literally to these shows that are doing their part. All of us now have to do our part. And despite the challenges, we can feel optimistic and hopeful for America. I look to the lessons of history to help inspire me, and I look to one of my heroes in these perilous times, and that's Ronald Wilson Reagan and what he was able to accomplish in tough times in America.